Hello guys and welcome back. So now the render is done and it's ready for us to start compositing this. The only change I did was I increased the diffuse here. I multiplied the texture instead of 2 by 3 so it becomes brighter because it was kind of dark in this environment, but now it's fitting much better. The statue also had a differentiator that uses the principal shader, and it was reflecting the environment. It was quite slow here, so I simply assigned the same diffuse used in this section here. So everything is a diffuse now. There is no reflection. And we turned on the light AUVs. I'm going to show you how it looks like. So this is where the list of the AUVs that you get, and let me check. And these are the pardon me, these are the ones I checked. Only I didn't want to include all of this because the more AUVs you're gonna add, the slower the render time is going to be and the more memory it's gonna take. And then here I only turned on the combined lighting per light, and then here export a variable for each light. What that does is it's gonna read in all the lights and create an AUV with just the light contribution. And this is very powerful for us, so we can tweak it back in comp. Now if you notice, I turned these guys off completely because I was getting tons of AUVs due to these guys being individual lights, so I turned that off for now, and I'll probably have to do a separate pass with just these guys on and with no light AUV, so we can get them all in the same light. And we're going to start compositing this. So Houdini has a COP network, which is the compositing context, and it's very to be honest, it's very underutilized because people don't know how powerful this is. So I'm going to show you guys how I use it in my daily workflow, and how we can use it to do all the compositing needed for a full CG shot. If we're doing any plates integration, it may not be the perfect solution, but if we're doing full CG integration, I think it's a great tool to use, especially that it comes built in Houdini. If you're not comfortable doing this in Houdini, you can use any compositing application you like to use. So I'm going to switch to the IMG context, the image context, which is the COP context, and then here I'm going to add a new tab called Composite View. Okay, and this is not the render view, this is different. And now we're in the compositing network. This is the COP network. I'm going to hit tab and create an image network. As you can see, with the tab there is not so much things that we can create, just the main node. And then if we double click, now we're inside the compositing network. And let's create a color to understand how it works. As you can see, we're getting the pixel preview here. This is the 2D viewer for these nodes, and I can create, for example, it has a built-in noise node. I can view that, and then if you want to view a specific node, you just have to click it. You can also drag and drop inside the viewer, and same shortcuts works as well. So let's say we can create 2 noises, for example, and right now it's splitting the view in 2. We can have multiple viewers, we can have 2 by 2, but I'm going to change that to be 1, only show me 1 node at a time. We can override the resolution of each node individually by going under the image tab and changing it here. If we want to change the project settings, we go under the compositing settings tab, and this is where we can change it. And for now we're going to leave it at that. And let's say we have these two noises. Let me turn this. Change the resolution for both of them. And let's say we have 2 noises. I'm gonna change the patterns. So we have more frequency in one, more turbulence, and then we can combine them. This is a merge node to add pixels together or the image together. So here I'm overlaying the two images, and I can change the mode to add. The noise, it has negative values, so it's subtracting from the other image as well, and we can add a clamp, a limit, to remove any negative value. So here I'm clipping any negative values using the limit node. I don't need to limit the positive values, and this is a clamp basically, and now you can see it's mixing better. Cool. So let's read in our image. I'm going to create a file, and I've stored it under the project $hip out, and it's still OPTZ for optimized. And right now we're displaying the colors in sRGB, and to view it the same way we had it in the render, we need to set this to 1 and load in the LUT that we've used, so the viewer looks exactly the same. And it's gonna take a few seconds, and there we go. This is our final render. Cool. And we also have access to all the AUVs. If we have other files, it will change this list based on the input, and we can scrub through and view all of them. So this is the left GI all. We can use the gain to view it, view the result. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle these into separate channels. So we see here we have whole left, whole right, whole left GI. I'm going to separate these using a shuffle node or a channel copy node. So I want to move this from being here into the C, which is the beauty pass or the color. I'm going to use a node called channel copy, and it's very, very easy to use. The target, I want to move all this, I want to move the AUV into this, which is the C. The source is going to be my input, for example, input 1, which is this guy, AUV called whole left all. So that's gonna move. As you can see now, we're in the C context, we're in the color context, and I'm going to do all of this for all the AUVs. So you can skip through if you want to, but I'm gonna do it so you guys can see it. And we'll do, I'm not gonna name it, and I'm gonna grab the groups together. So right section, this is the right, and let's add a dot so we can move this aside and organize it better. Okay, GI, cool, GI right. Okay, and I'm gonna add a layer node and call this whole GI. I'm gonna add, we always need to use the additive mode to combine the lights, and then these are the beauty paths for both of them. So let's combine them. I'm trying to group them so that they make sense. I can have access to this directly, and if I wanted to tweak this, I don't have to do separate tweaking per side. I can just apply a color correction and add them. So now I'm gonna add another layer and change it to add. Now we're back. This is all the lights that we've added. Now a quick way, because we have access to this now, we can do a hue shift, an HSV node to do a hue shift, and this will allow us to rotate the colors or change them. So I can, if I wanted to see how this would look like in a, if the lights were blue, it would be like this. And we can easily do this kind of manipulation now with the now that we have access to the lights. Okay, let's continue. So what's next? We have sky left. I'm gonna group all these together, and let's add a all lights, and let's copy one of these. Sky left window. Cool, this is the light window. Let's do the same thing for the right. Cool. And then we need the GI for both of them. Okay. And same thing. I'm gonna layer these two guys. Layer these two guys, and then another layer for this and this. Okay, now let's move this here. I'm gonna move this up and maybe add a point like that. I'm just trying to organize it a bit. And let's add a layer node and combine these two together. Cool, so now we have the sides lights added back in. Let's continue. I'm gonna move this down. And what do we have next? We have the roof and the arches. What is the roof like? Okay. So I'm gonna group the arches. Let's do the roof. It's quick and easy. Okay, let's do roof left. Let's see what's happening. Okay. Yeah, it looks like there is an issue here. This AUV may not have this is weird. Let's check the image. So it's fine here. Okay, I'm gonna delete this node. That's good. I'm gonna create a new channel copy and move this. Oh, sorry, we were looking at the roof left here, so yeah, it needs to be in the C. Cool, so let's add these two. And let's copy this. Shift R to swap the connection. Now we added the roof. Okay, let's continue. And I want to grab the arch left and arch right. Cool. Yeah, it's hard to see here. Arch right. Oh, sorry. Not the GI. Yeah, this one. Okay, and then let's do the GI for them. Okay, we have that. Let's copy this. Pardon me. Cool. And let's add it back in. As you can see, I'm using this structure where I have blocks coming in or inputs, and then I shuffle them out and I can tweak per section now. So I have each one of them ready. And for this guy, I'm going to connect it here. and it's getting there. Okay, let's see what else we have left. I hit the save button, so it takes a few seconds. And let's continue. The next part we would do the back sky. What is this? Oh, okay, it's quite strong light, so we'll do that here. We'll do it at the beginning. Not the center fill, sorry. Okay, this one. Cool. And then the other important section is the center. So spot 1. Spot top. Cool. Spot disk. This is the GI part. This is the second bounce, second fake bounce. Top door. Pardon me. And this is the GI section for the door. So let's add these two together. And these two together. Cool. And then these two. And I think we have all of them. Cool. Let's add another layer node. Okay, I think we have one more light left. Top door, the center fill. So let's add a dot here. Center fill. I feel like this should be with these guys. No, let's do it here because, yeah. Okay, let's compare this input with the first one. It should look exactly the same. And indeed, it looks exactly the same. So now that we have all these guys, we can start tweaking the colors of each block individually, and we're gonna start doing that in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.